Okay, now what you left, you need to calculate actually the actual slot span, and there you want to pick the first project when you call create, right? First the module that is type to do. So we don't actually need this button. What the flow is actually when you click this. Let's talk about the Swaggle API, right? So when you click this button, you will already call post, then you create a link. And already in your Saga, we already go through this, right? So you already in the Saga, you will actually that's your Saga. So you will uh, uh, link and receive it. Basically, you will have here. Okay, you call it the link, which is fine. So anyway, so you call it the link. So the link here, I think you should, wait, you don't have a type. Oh, this is initial state. Do you need to define?
Link.
Yeah, I know, but where do you define the type actually?
Uh, I write an interface.
No, yeah, but okay, let's talk about the project group maybe. Group reducer. Yeah, okay, you need to ask. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, otherwise you need to tell the type, right? So yeah, you need to this as I can add this here. So basically you need to add as booking link or undefined, right? So it could be undefined. Okay, this is comma, but I'll submit this later. Okay. So main thing is you will be setting this, right? And in your front end, when you open the drawer, here you don't need this button. The call will already be made. Okay, so remove this button. So you basically will be render the link booking link object, right? So you will print out. So you will have a UID later, right? Initially, it's undefined. Undefined. When it's undefined, you don't render anything. Okay. So when you receive, when you actually when your call is succeeded, it will this state will be set, right? And that's what you're gonna render here. So you will have a slot, and so look what we have, right? So when you call get, you will get the slot and span, right? Slot span, that's the first thing, which is immutable. Okay. If a user doesn't like it, just I mean, we need to have a button, and like you can delete it as well. Okay. The UI right now, okay, actually, let me write it here. Okay. So you have a slot span. I mean, this is our code, right? You don't write the slot span on the UI. Okay. But let's convert it to be like if it has hour, make it hour and a minute. Okay, like kind of like a custom duration. If it's more than 1 hour, okay,
Okay.
just break it down. I mean, whatever. So yeah, basically display kind of like this, but if it's like I mean, if it doesn't have a minute, 0 minute, don't display it. If it's like a 0 hour, don't display it. Basically, okay. Yeah. So okay, so that's the first thing you want to display. I mean, right now let's talk about what we want to display. Later, I mean, we can think about uh, like how to like move around and make things pretty. Okay. So as I mentioned, right, the once you have the jar, when you create the jar, you give some default parameter. You already did, right? Default parameter, and let's see what you can change, right? Which is the patch API. So if we user make a manipulation, so first thing we want to display is let's say I imagine here, right? So you will have not here. Actually, let me change this to X hour, X minute, right? So what we want to have is on the very beginning is the start date, something, and the end date. Basically, it will be like the range picker you had, right? And the time zone. So that's the first thing we want to display. It's kind of like the UI page here, right? Like you have, oh crap, this UI has never been done well. Okay, here, you want to have this, right, and the time zone, right? The only thing is that the time zone and the range can be changed. So kind of like if you change the time zone, kind of like this, right? You can change it. So we will not have a confirm button. So I mean, when you change, let's say when I change this one here, right? A call is already made.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like you don't need to have a confirm button. So basically, like if I change this, a call is already made. So we don't want to wait, say another button for user to. So basically, so note this is a partial. It's a partial call. What I mean is, in this patch, like if you change something, if I change start date, this start date has to be set, but all the other fields just make it now, or just don't serialize it. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's partial update. So only fill in the body with what you changed. Okay. So if I didn't change the buffer in minute, so we should don't it's not supposed to be in the body. Okay. Uh-huh. But always include time zone. Always include time zone is basically if we go to Java in the patch, the reason we need a time zone is later. I mean, rough idea is like right now every API require time zone because we want to calculate the slot based on your time zone. Okay, so I mean you don't have to totally understand this now. Basically, the rough idea is that if in the future some user like get the booking slot, right? We want to calculate the slot based on your current time zone, not a. I mean, maybe you are not in the same time zone. Okay, so the time zone is not now. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go through other parameter. Okay. So first you have this in the UI, right? So if user make a change, like drop down, let's say change the time zone, it's a patch, a API to patch. Okay. So yeah, let's talk about other parameter. Project, right? So it kind of like the project will kind of like let me see, kind of like here, like you can change a different budget, but here you only have type to do, right? Kind of like this. Default you already have the first one, right? So if user, let's say I change it to this, it's an immediate call to the backend, right? To
Okay.
patch. So every change basically is a call project. Of course, we should have some text to explain it. This basically is where like a task is generated, right? When user make a booking, right? When booked, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we should have some text, otherwise they don't know it. But try your best. I mean, we can polish the text later. So there are some checkbox. Those two are checkbox. We of course we should have some text to explain it. So this one is expire on booking. Basically means kind of like let me use something similar. Okay, here. So basically checkbox like this, right? I mean, you won't exactly say expire on booking, right? It will be more like you will be more like saying that if let's say, let's go back to here. You'll be saying that if it's a book is made, right? If a book is made, this booking will can no longer be used, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we call it booking. Externally, the text is booking. Nobody knows, right? Yeah, nobody knows about the concept of link, right? So it's internal, okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, include task without duration. So this is also some text, right? But so basically when you render it, you will use the current. I mean, how you render it is always use the reducers field value, right? Basically, when you, what I mean is you have a link, right, which is this type, right? Oh, you don't have other field. Okay, anyway, so when you should define more here, it's not a UUID, you don't won't match. It's not called a UUID, so you should have something. Let's see. If I copy those things here, let's ignore invitee for now. I mean, you don't need an invitee for now. You actually, oh, these are bookings. Ignore bookings for now. So those are the field you actually want to. Oh, the project is a lot. So let's talk about this one first. So your stuff. This is your stuff, right? Okay. So you have ID. So it's not called UID.
Okay.
So you have buffer in minutes. That's the integer. We call number, right? And then you have end date. It's string, right? I'll submit this later. Why is this giving me error? It's too
We
special.
have the ID online 12.
Okay. Yeah, saw it. Okay, now, so let's go through the parameter. Okay. So, I mean, it will, the parameter called expire on booking. I don't expect you to write it in the front UI, or user should not see it. Okay, here, this one, okay, this one include task without duration. So basically when you render, right, because you have this object, so the box is checked or not will depend on your object right here, right? So if you make a patch and let's say I click it and then after the patch, this one will be set, right? So you can use it. It may have some latency. If it's fast, it'll be super quick. Anyway, you know how to handle it. Okay. So those are this stuff, and the booking, so we have project. Okay, we have okay, slot span. We should okay, let's get one at a time. Project. Okay, this is the project. Owner, you don't need to display it for now. So slots is something you want to leverage later. Yeah, start time, end time. We don't have start time. Okay. Yes, there's a lot of fields. Let me copy this over. So you want to have slot span. That's for sure. That's in minute. That's in minutes. So you need to convert it. Yeah, you need to convert it. Slots. You don't have that for now. So okay. Let me skip this for now. This slots is actually when you use for preview availability. Basically, you asking like calendarly. You're asking about this interface, right? Oh, not this one. Okay, share. So we're basically talking about this page right now. And if you click preview availability, that's where you use the slots. Basically, the slot will be used to like to show this, right? But right now you don't need this. So basically you have a preview availability button, or just call it preview. I think I just call it preview, so user can see it. I mean, that would open the calendar actually, widget, right? So,
Okay.
so by far this is what you have. Let's go through. So if you have a preview, it will open this, and all this slot. That's the, I mean, the slot you have is kind of like so you have those, right? I mean, if I fill this all, I mean, let me just fill this all. So you have slots. So it will be a slot, array of slot. So we need to define slot. Oh, I'll explain this later. So we'll talk about slot later. So it looks like we still have one more missing, is the recurrence, right? Okay, you already defined the recurrence rule, so let's talk about this. This one is tricky actually. We'll talk about this later. Yeah, now we have everything. So maybe I can talk slot a little bit. Okay. So you have date. I assume the calendar will use the date for grouping for a single day. So you have index. Index is numbering from 0. So you just, actually, those two are used for backend when user make a booking, but you want to use the display date. Why we have two date and your front end must use the display date is that date and the index is used for the backend. I mean, backend has the real time zone. The display data is tailored to your time zone because so that's why all the requests, if you check other API, like even for the patch, okay, even for the patch, let's talk about this. Even for the patch API call here, for this is create. So that's why I say the patch need to pass time zone. Even for delete, you have to pass even for delete, or delete doesn't return anything. For all the get, actually, give me a sec. For one get, right, you need to pass the time zone. Yeah, time zone. Give me a sec. So think for get all the booking link, we don't need it. We have an API to get every booking link. Huh, so that doesn't need a time zone. Weird. Okay, maybe that doesn't. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, the reason we need a time zone is to calculate slots, right? So yeah, the slot will be like later you can display it, right? Okay. Anyway, let's go back to the front end. So now you have this. Okay, on means it's on or off, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but you don't need to worry about this slot for now. But take it for now. The only thing here right now, I think is we already talked about those two checkboxes. Okay, how you phrase this is basically like include let me think, include tasks that does not have a duration. Let me think. If you phrase this way, include forward, include. So what is the meaning of include, right? When we say include, that means tasks. First, tasks. If you have tasks, some slot will be marked off, right? Right. So first thing is that when you have a task on your own calendar, so slot will be marked as off. But there are some tasks, so your wording will be something like so first it's a statement, right? So if you have your if you have tasks whose time has conflict with a particular span, right? So span will be treated as unavailable, right?
Okay.
Include, but the definition of those tasks, does it include those tasks without the duration or not, right? Try your best to phrase it, but just don't spend too much on it. We will polish it later. Okay. So another two field that we need to add. One is location, one is node. The reason is basically when you make a booking. Let's see. Oh, not this one. Field booking page. Let's see. If you want to do confirm, yeah, here, right? So let's say location, just call it where. So for location, I mean, in the DB it's called location. In the UI, just call it where. The hint is basically give it a hint, okay, or like hover over a tooltip, right? Basically, is where it happens, basically, right? It happen, such as web link, phone number, or physical location. That's the word you're gonna use, okay?
Okay.
That's where. It's a text box. Since the note is more like the UI, note is more like the UI here. So it's a little bit tricky, like how do you determine, because you cannot send a patch every time I type, right? So I don't know if you have a way to do that, to detect the like how do I say, unfocus, or do you have a way to tell I'm done, or maybe buffer it a little bit? Because we said we're not gonna send the patch every time, right? But that's a little bit tricky for text box. So what you can do, one thing is, I mean, for text box is a little bit tricky. Maybe you can do something like this. You see here, when you change it, like a save,
Okay.
then you send it, right? All the other happen automatically, but for this, maybe display like this. And this is like if you change back to the original, it's gone. So it will detect it and click save, it's a patch, right? Well, you don't know when it stops, right? So basically, it's kind of like a partial update for every field, right? So you can do something like this. Anyways, that's where, and okay, the last field is basically this one, note, right? Anything we have prepared for our meeting. Yeah, this is basically, you can copy the text,
Okay.
right? And here, this is like anything, right? Add anything you want to share. So those, I mean, those will be automatically populated when other users try to make a booking, then they will see whatever, because when I generate them, I may put a Zoom link, right? And also something here, note. And when the user go to the public page to book me, they will see it, right? It will also be generated in the email when we book, or in the content of the task, right? Anyway, just explaining what it does. What else do we have? So I think, now you understand why you make a create, send you do patch, right?
Yes.
Yeah, even though your create has some default recurrence. Okay, recurrence is the toughest one. Okay, so I think that's the last thing we want to talk about. Okay, slot, let's ignore it. Okay, all the other we already went through, right? Project, when you change it, it will be changed, right? Okay. Yeah, for the patch, you only send the project ID, right? So it's not the whole project. Okay, recurrence rule is a little bit tricky. So first, the string you have when you create, let's say you create a task, right? It's kind of like this, right? You can say daily. So the recurring is this, right? So I imagine we'll have in the bottom, maybe first the title is like a time, I am unavailable, for example, unavailable, right? Something like that. And then this is a particular, let's make it a component, dedicated component. It will be in the bottom of the jar, but make it a component. Why is that we kind of want to show like here, because you may have multiple, right? Unlike this, you have one at a time. So it will show like every day starting and the duration, something like this, right? So that means you can reuse the code here. Also, you do need a duration, because we need to know how long how long. This is only the beginning, right? So yeah, I mean, yes. So basically, this is marking of like I imagine it'll be like it kind of like a one div, another div, right? You have for every rule is a div. Of course, everyone have a duration, right? I mean, you can delete it, or you can like create a new one.
Okay.
The related API is, of course, you can delete if you want to delete the whole link. It's a delete API, right? For the slot, let's not talk about slot for now. Slot doesn't is not so you are not dealing with slots for now. So this API to update slot, you are not at that far yet. So this is the API to update the recurrence rule. It's basically array of the recurrence rule. So what I mean is you kind of take the result. Let's say if I delete one, right, you basically send the payload as a single element. If I add another one, you will send a payload of 2 elements, right? If you modify one, you still send the payload as the 2 element, right? So
Okay.
yes, this is the last API in the drawer. Anyway, right now you don't need to worry about the update. So right now is what you want to display in the drawer, right? So if we go back to our beginning, what we want to do here. So you need to get rid of the button, and we want to display those things here, and the user can change it, tune it, right? And of course the preview button, because every time you patch it, you will get a response of the booking link, the booking links which have the booking and the slots. I mean, I think you care about the slots most, because every time you change it, you modify the slot, right? The slot, I mean, it impact the slot. The backend will calculate whatever need to be done. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, right now just throwing all everything into the UI, try to make it pretty. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, the process is that you when you click a button, you actually already create a booking link with some default parameter, right? But the slot span is immutable. You cannot change it anymore. So you display in the top, right? The interval. I don't know if say display this. Okay, it's called like some, yeah, maybe it's titled like this, right? Maybe even give this cute icon. I mean, when you use ant icon, you don't have to. You can try to find something here, maybe field, right? Or even this one, right? Not only in the outline, right? So you can have different. I think it's using this one, right? Okay, so what I'm saying is like you want to display something right here, right? Maybe like a 1 hour, 15-minute meeting. I mean, if it's multiple, right? Of course. I mean, if it's like yeah, I mean, basically just like a 15-minute meeting or 15-minute booking. We call it booking, right?
Okay.
So that will be something displayed in the top, right? You cannot change it, right? It's like here you cannot change it 15 minutes, right? And you can change start date and end date. I mean, you already make the default, but the user can change it, right? And the time zone. Time zone, you are using the browser's time zone, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, project you already used the first one. Maybe so you can like change the job down and update it. So every change is a patch call, right? And right now, time I'm unavailable, you use default from 0 to 8 and from 5 p.m. to midnight, right? So yeah, I mean, all this by default will be in the bottom of the UI, will show it. I mean, deal with this later, okay? Deal with this later. So first deal with those, right? Let's have a look, right? UI wise, try your best, right? I mean, right now we don't know how it look group together, how it look. I mean, right now, I mean, like how it look grouping together, look better. It's kind of like a form, right? It's like kind of like when you create a task, like everything's here. Maybe it's not exactly form. You don't have to right now. You don't have a big validation to make. Right? You don't have a big validation. Yeah, you don't have to use the. I mean, I'm saying you don't need to use the form, that particular form. Okay, the code form. Okay, yeah, yeah. I think that's yeah. Every drop down. I mean, you have to pick one, right? And then you have to pick a date. And the end, you do have some sort of validation, like the end date cannot be bigger than start date. But I think Ant already have those. Right. I think it already by default supports that. Right. Okay. And the time zone you must select one, right? Cannot give empty. Where is optional, so if user remove it, doesn't matter, right? I mean, you need if user remove it, send it at the empty string. Okay, don't send it now. Okay, otherwise we'll ignore it. Okay, so for those partial update, so for partial update, you need to at least send something. Okay, like let's say if the user change the node to be empty, empty is fine. Don't give us now. Give us now, the backend will ignore it, right? So that means not updating it. Got it?
Okay.
Yeah, update here, update booking link, partial update. Yeah, I mean, if it's now, yeah, if it's now, we won't update it. And the location, yeah, has location. Yeah, don't make it now if you want to wipe it. Okay. Yeah, I think you don't need to use form. The validation is not too much. I think you don't have too much validation need to do. Yeah, basically, I mean, those are required, but I don't think you have a problem. Yeah, here basically, I already talked about it, right? Okay. Yeah, you also need a preview button somewhere. So when you organize the UI, I'm just giving you every element you should have, right? So right now not this one. When you look at this, you need to have a preview button. I don't think you need to show the link. Wait. Oh, the link. The link itself, the link, you do need some place to copy paste the link, but I don't think you need to display it. I mean, you can have a button like a copy link. The link is actually another page, more like a public page, right? But don't worry about it. But I suggest, because we want to see the whole UI, right? You need to have a preview button. You need to have a copy button, copy link button, right? Oh, it's actually called a link. Or you don't just call it copy, just share, just call it share. So don't use the word link, okay? Just call it share. And when you click it, we will populate the link and the copy paste it into the browser. Have it. Anyway, just for now, just give a button there, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, that's it. Yeah. So you have all the element. Let's see how it looks. Okay. Any question?
No.
Yeah. Okay. I'll submit this change, then you'll get it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, cool. That's it. Okay. Okay, then bye.
Bye bye.
Mhm.